welcome to another episode of the Dirty Mocktail Hour podcast. I'm Ingrid.
I'm Yadira.
I'm Gina.
And we have a special guest today.
Hey, what's up?
His name is Josh. And Yadira, I think this is...
Me introduce. Yeah, he's my boyfriend. My boyfriend of 6 months. We've been together for 6 months.
Yeah, 6 months.
He's very talented musician.
Oh.
He's into gaming.
Now I'm speechless. Now I can't even speak and we're on a podcast.
We're going to open you up.
Thank you. Oh
my God.
But we're so happy to have you here. We're going to be talking a little bit about everything. But before we get to that topic, Yadira, what is this?
It's like a dragon fruit cocktail, I guess.
Yeah, I'm loving
It's
the
dragon
color.
fruit, like a sour dragon fruit.
That's pretty.
It's very
very
pink.
pretty.
Really
for
delicious.
the start of this nice weather that we're having today, finally.
Yes, refreshing for sure.
Yeah, it's 80 degrees, almost 80, I think.
Close.
Yeah, in the morning it was cold, but now it's hot.
No, I'm happy that it's getting hot, honestly.
Seriously, I can't wait for the summer.
Me too.
Yeah.
I think
Being
everybody's tired of the cold. It's been
time.
too long.
It's time.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Okay, so our topic today, we're like going to just like it's interesting because, you know, we're all ladies.
Yeah.
And we'd love to get like a male point of view.
Oh, I'm representative of every guy in the world. It's like Whitney Houston.
Like Whitney Houston.
Exactly like that. But you know, we can go through different. I have all the questions here. So, I think our main question we're talking about today is male and female friendships and whether or not how do men and women approach friendships differently. Do you think we approach friendships differently? Or like this is for everybody, but like do you think, like, first off, do you think men and women can be friends?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I
They
think
can be.
so.
Oh, Gina, now you can.
I think so. I think I'm 50-50. It all depends.
It all depends
on their
because
history,
Yeah, because if
too.
they've been friends for a long time, then
Yeah.
makes sense.
Okay.
Like, and how close, like, you know, if that person's constantly like interrupting, going on the dates, like, okay, that's too much, that's excessive.
Okay.
But if it's like a friend, let's say there's no history, they act like they're brother and sister, you know, there's no type of connection, then I think it's fine. But it all depends. I can't say, you know.
For certain,
Wait,
100%.
It all depends.
For clarification, though, we're talking about like if you're in a relationship and you have a friend that's a girl. Or is it just if you're single, can you be friends with girls?
No,
Yeah,
like
just
in
I
a
think-
relationship.
Oh, in a relationship? I thought it was
Yeah.
just in general.
I thought it was in general as well.
Oh.
Yeah, 'cause
I
feel
think
like
for
if you're single,
yeah.
of course, you know. I feel like guys should
Oh,
definitely.
yeah, single.
you know,
Yeah.
you should learn from women. I feel like that's the coolest thing. It's like you can't. I feel like some guys are just like in their own little bubble with other guys, and it's like when you actually go out, talk to women, and like you can even talk to your girlfriends and be like, hey, like I'm in a relationship, I have a relation problem, and they'll give you a different perspective, you know.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
I guess I was talking about relationship.
No, okay, so
That's when it
different,
gets a little bit.
different. Yeah,
That's
okay,
when it
so-
gets a little bit messy. I think.
Yeah, but if you're
Interesting.
single, of course, I think
Yeah,
you can
it's
be
different,
friends,
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, I think also. Let me think.
It's okay if you have a different perspective.
have-
Yeah.
For sure.
I'm
Just
looking.
say it.
I'm
Yeah,
looking
you can
at
say
my-
it.
I'm thinking about my history.
Yeah.
I do think like I can be friends with, okay, whether or not I'm in a relationship or not. Of course, like I feel like in a relationship you have to like follow, like
Unwritten code.
yeah, or
Yeah,
like,
very
yeah, or you at least have to communicate more to your significant
yeah.
other about where you are and like introduce your friend, significant other, to the opposite sex if you have like a friend in that area. So I think, but in terms of like me in general with just having friends as guys, I don't really hang out with friends, guys, like alone. Usually like if I'm
setting.
in a group setting, if I'm hanging out with a friend, I mean, I have that one friend from college that I hang out with, but like, I feel like it's a little different where it's like we knew each other. It's kind of like having a childhood friend
Yeah.
in a way where it's like, okay, like I know this person for this amount of years and like I've seen met their family and like we kind of know each other and that dynamic, and we are like all friends of friends. But I think like as I get older, I don't know if I could be friends with just with a guy.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, that must make sense. And I feel like with like women, there's more to risk. You know what I
Right.
mean? Because like imagine the guy like has a crush on you, you don't even know it. You know what I mean? Then it's like you made it all awkward.
Yeah.
And that usually is what happens. Like a lot of the guys, like because guys, it's like I guess I'm not gonna speak for everybody, but I think that some guys, it's like they don't have that interaction. Because with guys, when we're with our male friends, we're joking around.
Yeah.
You know? When it's like with women, it's more like it's softer. You know what I mean? For the most part, like sometimes it's not, but like for the most part, it's softer. So it's like you kind of sometimes they'll take that and just like the niceness and the kindness and the affection, and they'll confuse that for something that's like more romantic when it's not.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's when it gets like messy, because then the girl's like, well, I just really wanted to be friends. And the guy's like, well, I thought this was more like, it gets
Right.
mixed up. So you have to like really, in the beginning, that's what I was kind of saying. It's like, it kind of works the best when both of you kind of are on the same page that you're just not each other's type, or you're not attracted to each other.
Gotcha. That
That's
makes
when
sense.
That's when it works the best.
That makes sense.
Because when you have that chance that there could be like attraction, that's when it's like,
Could get messy.
Yeah, it could get
Yeah.
messy. That's
Yeah.
true.
Okay, I agree with that.
Yeah, because Josh has a lot of friends.
yeah, I mean, I have
Too.
a lot
Yeah.
of
Melon,
friends.
We met a lot of his friends.
So he has a lot of like guy and girlfriends, and I've met I think all of them already. Most of
Yeah,
them
most of them,
probably.
most of them, yeah.
Most of them, but they're all really nice. I like all your friends. They're really cool.
Yeah, but
Yeah, but it's like I don't know. I don't see a problem with it at all. Like that you have girlfriends because you're really close with them, and you've been friends with them for a long
I
time.
mean, there's boundaries. I'm assuming that's also why.
there's
yeah,
absolutely
there's
boundaries.
boundaries.
So there you
Yeah,
go.
the
That's
boundaries are there.
why.
Yeah,
And
but
it's like for some like for some of my like it's just already like I would
yeah,
just never
yeah.
I just
And
would,
he's already
I mean,
told
even
me
if
that.
I'm single,
Yeah,
I just wouldn't.
You
do
wouldn't
anything
because
'cause
they're
I'm
your
not attracted
friends.
to them. Like, and it's
Yeah.
just, it is what it is. And that's but
But your friends are cool though. I like them.
No,
they're
like,
really
Brian's
nice.
really nice. And
Yeah.
like, but we just have no chemistry, because there's like the thing about it is there's a lot of times where it's just platonic, and it's just like you just don't have any.
Yeah,
chemistry
no,
with
yeah.
somebody.
You just have like love as a
But
friend.
there's like love, like I
Yeah,
care
yeah.
about you, like you're like my sister, like you know I want the best for you. You know what I mean? If you need anything, I'm gonna be there for you.
Yeah.
But romantically, no, it's just not gonna happen.
I see.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes
And-
it's also good to have a female friend.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I
yes.
100%
Or opposite
agree.
sex, like-
Especially for guys. I truly believe that, like, because a lot of
Yeah.
guys are in their own bubble.
Right.
And they only hear what other guys say. So then they have their, like, own perception of what women are.
Oh, so they
And
don't
then
have
when
any,
they go into
like-
the dating market,
yeah.
then they just don't, like, they don't see women as human.
Oh,
Keep it a
yeah,
bean.
yeah.
They just
Yeah,
don't, because
yeah,
they don't
yeah.
have any female friends. If you have female
Oh, I
friends,
got
then
you. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm understanding what you're saying. You're
I
very
didn't wanna
passionate about
interrupt
the
you.
subject. No, he's just very passionate about this subject.
Oh, yeah, I'm just passionate in general.
Yeah, he is a passionate
That's really
person.
good,
Passionate
though.
guy.
Yeah.
That's
Passionate
important.
guy. The chill guy.
The chill guy that has passionate moments.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, what I was saying is like a lot of guys, like they don't have that interaction with women on a platonic level. And if you have that reaction on a platonic level, then you have respect for them on a
Right.
platonic level.
Yeah, that's true. That makes sense. I
Yeah,
got
if you
you.
can't be friends with a woman without romantically, you got to kind of check that. Like, be like, why can't you just be friends with a woman? Like, you only
Gotcha.
can be friends with a woman if you're dating them.
Interested, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or if you're interested,
Interested,
it's like,
yeah.
nah, like you should be
I think
friends
it
with
just
anyone.
depends on when you first meet and you like clarify what you guys are. If you guys are just strictly friends, then it's just gonna be a friendship and nothing more.
Yeah, that's an
From the
important
beginning,
part.
anyways.
Because I've had times where it got messy with me, like just
Mm-hmm.
in general, like with like people that I thought I liked, you know what I'm saying, but
Yeah.
they thought we were friends, and vice versa.
So you've had
I've
like the
I've-
wrong.
Mhm.
You, I guess when you first met them, you probably thought you might have liked them, but they just saw you as a friend, and
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. Has
and-
that ever happened with anyone else? No.
That it got messy.
No, like you had a guy friend or a friend that's a girl where they where you thought it was just a friendship, or they
Yes,
thought it was just a
yes.
friendship, but they liked you more than
Yes.
yeah, then they let on.
Yes,
100%.
That happened to me too.
it happens.
I
happens.
think it's super relatable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think also like when you're younger, you're not aware.
That's true. When
And
you're
it's-
younger,
You just
it's
want a friend
different.
of the
Yeah.
opposite sex, and you're just looking for friendship, and they're just trying to get out of the friend zone.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's the thing
Not,
about the friend
you're
zone.
really being straight with them, but they just think, hey, maybe she's like deep inside, she does like me, but
Yeah.
but
Maybe
they
I
don't,
can
they
improve.
don't
You
seem
know,
to understand
media-
what no is.
Yeah, that's the big thing. It's like not knowing, taking no for an answer.
Yeah.
But then again, it's like I realized like a lot of the media that like we grew up on, all of it was like that.
No,
and I
yeah.
think a lot of guys were never taught the right way to approach
Right.
women, so they'll
I
just
agree.
go from media.
I agree
and
with
it's
you
like
too.
in media, it's always like, oh, the guys like has to chase the the girl with
Yeah.
the flowers.
Disney
and stuff
Channel.
Like that.
Oh yeah, Disney Channel, Gina,
Yeah, like
Nickelodeon.
Lizzie and
Yes.
Gordo, or
Oh,
like Chase,
yeah.
Yes,
like,
that's what I'm
like
saying.
literally Chase Zoe, like the whole show.
Yeah.
Zoe.
She was
Oh,
never
Chase and
interested in
Zoe.
him
That's
until, like, the very end.
true.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like guys have that thing in their mind where they're like, oh, if we're friends for a long time, one
Maybe
day
it'll
like it'll
happen.
just be the magical
Oh, yeah?
last episode.
You
and
think
we'll
it's
just get
from
together.
watching a lot of media?
It is.
And
I think
Friends?
some of it. I just
Yeah.
think that it's because guys don't really have like a recourse. Like nobody really goes to us and like says, "This is how you approach a woman." We're just kind of like in the water
Gotcha.
swimming.
I mean, it could also go. I mean, a media and also like role models, like
Oh,
who's
people
a
you
role
look up
model,
to. That's true.
and like family members. It all depends,
For
like,
sure.
you know, that as well. But I do agree. Like, I do think that, like, especially like my experience of like my not. I mean, I guess it's different for me because I'm like thinking of a female perspective of it. But I never really understood what a healthy relationship should look like. And I
True.
never
That's
know-
true. I've never
knew,
had that
like,
either.
Yeah, so it's like really hard to like going back to the media part. It's like seeing something on TV and like or like seeing something on reality TV.
Bro,
Like-
reality TV is a big one. I think
Yeah.
that's because I watch a lot of reality TV, and I think it just messed up my perception of
Yes.
relationship.
Yes, I
And
agree.
when I was younger, now that I'm looking back at it, I feel like when I
Yeah.
was younger, I just had the wrong idea of a relationship, and I feel like I settled with people too easily. That took me for granted, and I didn't see that in the beginning, maybe.
Yeah.
But now that I'm older, or when I was older, I think is when I started to see that difference,
Yeah.
right, in dating. So maybe that's why it was easier for me to get into something more serious as I got older compared to when I
Yeah.
was younger.
That's
I
true.
agree.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess Josh, do you feel like your male friendships versus female friendships are as emotionally fulfilling? Like I'm just wondering about guys, how do you emotionally like connect with another male? Like is it like even something that you call emotional or
I mean-
vulnerability? Do you get vulnerable?
Yeah, I mean, like for me, I feel like I'm just a really emotional person, like more emotionally vulnerable person, so I can be like that.
Yeah.
But certain people I can't be like that towards, like
Right.
certain guy friends I can't.
Yeah.
But I realize like there's a spectrum, and there's more guys that are like from when I originally went to like high school and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Like my guy friends that I'm still friends with that era of my life. They're like, no, we're just joking around, we're goofing around, we're making fun of each other. If something serious happens, though, we're there for each other. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
yeah.
But it's just like we're not gonna spill everything like that. It's usually like for levity, fun, right? But then I have another group of guy friends that I met that are a little bit more mature when I got older, and we'll talk about real things. You know what I'm saying? And we can have
yeah.
more conversations. And I think it's because like I'm older.
Yeah.
So when you're older, when I'm choosing the people that are in my life now, emotional intelligence is like a big thing.
Yeah.
It is.
For
I
me,
agree.
in friendships, in relationships, whatever.
Yeah.
When I was younger, it was just like, oh, like that person has a cool shirt, or like,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Or
Yeah.
that person like likes the same game I like. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So it's like that bonds you, and then you realize like emotionally we're completely different.
Yeah.
But you still have the memories, so you're still cool with them. But it's
Yeah.
not. You can't interact with them now.
At what age do you feel like you felt like it transferred into more like that? Like we're emotionally like intelligent?
For me, like around like 17, 16,
Oh.
17 is like when I started like kind of seeing things in a different way.
Okay.
That's how I felt, yeah.
Wow.
Pretty young. But like I feel like I'm a little different though. Like I just feel like with emotions or something, because I write,
Yeah.
I just was always in touch with that. So like when I'm around stuff that doesn't stimulate it, I feel it like that. Like I actually really feel alone a lot
Oh, yeah.
because I'm like, yo, like am I the only one that feels this way?
You're right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Bars.
I'm dead. What about you guys? Do you feel like, I mean, I guess flipping it over, like female friendships. Do you feel like with your female friendships are emotionally fulfilling? I don't know if you have a lot of male friends, but
I feel like,
with females, I think maybe it's a little easier.
well, you guys have been friends. We've been friends for a long
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
And I feel like because we've known each other for so long, it's different because I think we've only had like one other person come into the friend group, and like our friend Angelica.
Oh, that's all right. Oh,
yeah.
Shout
She's
out
a
to
part of our friend
Angelica.
group.
She's still out there.
She's
She's still out there.
busy. She's busy working in
She's
school.
busy.
Y'all
Yeah.
love Angelica. Shout out to Angelica. She said one time.
Yeah.
But yeah, like all four of us, like even with her coming into like the friend group, I've known her for a long time too, and I think just closest friends from there.
Yeah.
Then I have my coworkers from my job, which I consider close friends now as well. But I think because we've known each other for so long, it's easy.
Yeah.
When we have something going on, we talk about it, get each other's opinions, and we're very, I guess, mature about it. So it's easy to talk to you guys about things and stuff like that.
Yeah, I feel like also when I think about it, I'm like, I like that because we do have like a group chat. And like sometimes it's like my therapy.
It's
I'm
random.
Oh, we
Yes.
have that too.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, we got the group chats for sure.
Yes.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Oh boy. But sometimes, like the other day, I was like, "Oh, it's windy today." Like,
The most random conversation.
Yeah.
because I'm like, there's no other group. I mean, I honestly like the older I get, I think this is the only group that I've had a college friend group before, but we all fell off. So I feel like it's nice to at least like have that like silliness and like,
like
have
consistency with the friendship.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think we also evolved. Like,
Yeah.
a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah,
grew a
we
lot.
See
did.
each other grow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we
Exactly.
did from high school till now.
Yeah, and
Bonded.
I like that, and I like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, exactly, and I like the fact that we can friendships, which is relationships are great, and friendships. I feel like friendships for sure are just like human nature. Like you
They're
need
important.
Yeah,
They are
exactly.
important.
Connection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like that's not just your like partner. I feel like you
Yeah,
need
you
someone
do.
You have
outside.
to.
You have to.
absolutely.
It's healthier.
Yeah, it is. You need it.
Yeah, you can't get all consumed with like one person.
Yeah,
because
you-
if that doesn't work out,
Right.
then
You're left
You know, and then
alone.
like people start feeling away because they're like, oh, you know what I mean? You weren't
moved, yeah.
communicating with me. You just completely like dumped me.
Yeah.
Because that's happened to me. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like it happened to me with like somebody where like I really was like good friends with, and they were a girl. You know what I'm saying? And we're still friends to this day. But it's just she got into a relationship, and then it was just like her boyfriend was just like, nah,
Everything.
like I don't want you talking to him,
Oh,
this or
now I
whatever.
see.
And then she blocked me. You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
So then
I
we didn't
gotcha.
talk until like a couple of years later, and then she like unblocked me. And now like we're cool. Like it hurt, like
Yeah.
but I was,
Because it
but
was
I
a
was able to
friend.
get over it because I also kind of understood.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I can understand that because it's like that's just how certain relationships are. But yeah, like I was hurt, but it was something that I could like get over. Like it wasn't unforgivable. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Yeah,
that
there-
makes sense.
That's another topic. I mean, I'll probably go later on.
Yeah.
It's like, when is a friendship like gonna break up? Like friendship breakups.
Yeah.
To me, are a little bit more intense.
They are intense because it's a
Especially how
long,
long-
yeah, long
Yeah.
friendship's
Yeah.
wild.
And I think, Josh, you answered this question, but what do men need to be fulfilled in their male friendships? Like, what do you need in a male friendship that I think you mentioned emotionally?
Yeah, emotional intelligence
Yeah.
for me, you know what I mean? I think it's like different for other, like all different people. It's
Yeah,
like a
everybody
it's a
needs
huge
different things.
spectrum
It's
of
Yeah.
true.
people.
That's true.
But I do
So-
agree with that.
Yeah.
Emotional.
Yeah, so like for me, it would be like that. But I think like for most, like if I'm just like generalizing like guys in general, I feel like guys just need like that, like, oh, like you can joke around with somebody type of
Have
thing.
Yeah,
fun.
definitely.
It's like having fun with somebody and like having that levity. Like you have a hard day at work, you're with your boys, you're just like watching like something on TV, like cracking jokes and stuff like that. That's usually what most guy relationships feel like.
Yeah.
what
That
I
is
mean?
true.
And it's like
Yeah.
and it's like the thing about it is like I heard this one thing where it's like with guys, like we'll roast each other, but we actually do care each other, but we'll roast. Well, certain girls will be like, oh, like you're like this or
We say
whatever,
things- yeah.
and then like deep down you're like, oh, you know what I'm saying? It's like the complete opposite. Like we'll be super mean, but then behind each other's back we'll be like, oh no, that dude was like the great, like
Oh, yeah.
love that. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
kind of what it is. But then there's some moments where like that gets messy. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like that.
It could get bad.
Yeah,
it could
because
get,
it's like
Oh, I was gonna say it could go past like a certain boundary. Because if you do like you
Yeah.
can say you roast each other, but
yeah, and that's
sometimes
happened to
there's a
me.
lot of truth in like when people say.
It does hurt.
Absolutely.
Especially coming from a
Especially
friend.
if like they're taking vulnerabilities or
Yeah.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
using
Secrets.
something insecurities,
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
have a friend that's like that, and like, and we've kind of went through back and forth with that kind of stuff because
Yeah.
I'm 100% like I feel like that's a natural part of like
Hmm.
friendships, but when it crosses a certain line and it becomes almost like you're just trying to pick at me all the
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
it starts to feel like annoying. Like you're
Yeah.
like, okay, like I'm literally here to chill.
Yeah.
Like I'm like stressed out. I'm coming here to like decompress, and like you're just like coming at me for no reason.
right.
And then it's like you don't want to be the person, but like you know what to say too. But then you kind of have the thing of I don't want to say it because then if I do, then everyone's gonna look at me like, oh, you crossed the line. But I'm
Right.
like, you know what I'm saying?
it's kind of like you have to
There
figure
has
out,
to be a boundary.
There
yeah,
has
And you-
there has to be boundaries.
and
in
it has to
certain
be
things.
like a private conversation, like
Yeah.
in
between you and that
'cause
person.
I know what you're saying, because like being in public and like having everyone in your business, and then it can create drama, and it can create.
It could
like,
make it even
tension.
bigger than it
Or
is.
awkward. Like you'll be like, why is he like
Yeah.
targeting me?
Yeah,
Like, what's
especially
up?
in public. That's
Right.
it's just like certain things you could get away like if it's just your group, but then if you're going out with new people and they don't even understand the joke,
They might
feel
take it-
awkward. 'Cause then
yeah.
they're like, yo, because I had a
Yeah.
thing where I brought a friend that was like in a whole different friend group, and my other friend group is way more. We're more chill. Like it's not like that kind of roast culture. It's more like we're very kind to each other, very giving to each other. And I brought him around it, and like they saw how he treated me, and they were like, yo, like. Why are you friends with him? Like, you know what
Wow,
I'm saying?
it was-
And 'cause
it
they
must have been bad.
Yeah, exactly. Because and with me, since I'm so used to it, because I've known him for years, I was like, yeah, that's just kind of how we are. But then when I kind of took a step back, I'm like, I get it though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
you get it
Yeah.
coming
You know
from
what I'm
other
saying?
people
That's
that care about you.
toxic. I
Yeah.
think that's toxic.
There's definitely,
Yeah.
I agree with that. Like,
I could see that though. Why it's like a scary thing to
someone
confront
else.
someone that's a friend that's maybe picking on you a little bit, because maybe it's like a brotherly thing.
Yeah,
at the
it's like
same,
a brotherly thing.
but at the same time, like, but at the same time, it could be like bad for you because you're dealing with everything, and then when you discuss it around everybody in the group, they might take his side and not your side,
that's very
and
true.
that would hurt you more, right?
That is very true. You know what I mean? Because when there's infights within the group, that's
It's
always,
just hard.
That's always it, and that's another thing. I guess if we go back, if we're talking about like relationships and stuff in a group,
Yeah.
Like let's say because I've had groups where like there's girls in the group, you know what I mean? In
Yeah.
my friend group, and then the guy and the girl they start dating. And then it's like, for a while, it's amazing because they're like, oh, they're the mom and dad of the group. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
But then when they break up, it's like we're in a divorce.
Oh,
It's literally a divorce.
And the kids scatter.
Yes,
Yeah,
it
pretty
is a
much,
divorce.
yes.
I'm telling you, like,
People. That's my dog. That's yours.
yes,
That's
it's
yours.
so,
No,
it's so
no.
bad.
Oh my
Like
God. That
literally
is
for
awkward.
years, we couldn't have them in the same room.
Oh my
so it was
God.
like we would either have to invite one of them or the other one.
That's
That
so
was it.
bad.
Damn.
And it was like
That's awkward.
It only
It is awkward.
until I think a couple months ago that like it kind of chilled and finally
Yeah.
because she's getting married now and it's like but it took all the way to that time.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
it pretty much shows
Crazy.
how,
sometimes
how
it's just
crazy it
time. I
was.
think sometimes it just takes time to heal from all that.
It does, but
Especially because it's a friend. Like when
Yeah.
you start off as friends first and then you start dating, there's a possibility that you might lose that friendship.
100%. And I
In
think
the
that's
end.
what we all, I mean, for
Yeah.
people who are in that boat, you have to be aware.
You have to
and
be very careful
accept of
because you
that.
could, if you're accepting of being in a relationship with that friend, there's also the possibility that you might lose them.
yeah,
sure.
it's a thing. It's a
So
it's a risk.
it's a risk. So if you're willing to take the risk, you're also willing to lose that friendship.
100%.
Yeah, and you're also willing to lose. Sometimes willing to lose the friend group.
That is true because some
Because-
people pick.
You're
Some people do
right.
pick sides.
Yeah, because I feel like in that same friend group, it wasn't even the first time that.
Oh
it happened.
my God.
We had a whole one of my friends and there's the other girl in the group. Like they dated first, and then she completely left the group. Like I haven't heard from her in years.
Oh, wow.
And we had it was no issue. It was just I guess something happened between them, and she just didn't want anything to do with anything
Anybody
about it. She
else?
wanted to start
That happens
over.
sometimes,
and
though.
that hurts because like we have our own separate friendship with you,
Yeah.
but like you're I guess you conflate that kind of with him
Mm-hmm.
and then you have to get away from it and then like it affects everything. So that's the hardest part. Like in our group it's kind of like we don't like we're kind of like we don't want that like
Yeah.
intermingling type of thing, you know what I'm saying? Like we can't control it, but
It's bound
like
to happen, I feel.
we've seen it happen so many
Yeah.
times and it never works out. It's really
100%.
bad.
Yeah, but it's bound to happen
I
because with so
agree.
many like girls and guys, it's bound to happen where there's this. Someone has some type of sexual attraction, even though they're not saying it, but they could feel it. You just
Yeah.
don't know.
It's true. There is. That is
It
that
happens.
Awkward,
Yeah, it's that's what's
funny.
awkward when you're in a friend group with men and women.
Yeah.
Because I feel like when I was younger, I had more guy
true.
friends. I
Oh,
did. I
yeah.
did have more guy friends, but they all disappeared.
Yeah, they do. I mean, if you're not.
But it's because I think either we dated or we messed around and it just got complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happens.
So that's how I lost all my guy friends.
I get that.
No, that's what happens
Yeah.
though. You know what I mean? It's
But that's
once
when
you-
I was younger, though. Not now.
No, my other question was because we were asking about like what do men or like what at least in Josh's perspective need to be fulfilled in male friendships. What about females? What do you think we need to feel fulfilled?
The emotional
And,
has
like,
to be there. I think loyalty is very important for
Loyalty.
women.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
That's
because even if you're
honesty.
wrong, even if you're wrong, you still want them to have your back.
right. and the ability to actually like, I think this is not talked a lot about, like, conflict.
Mm.
But when there is a conflict in a friendship,
Mm-hmm.
are you able to, and I don't think this is just for females.
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is
it's
for
just
men
in
and
general.
women. This is for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, are you able to, because sometimes it talks about the fakeness, and, like, not the, I don't know if it's fakeness, but it's like when someone has, like, for example, crossed a boundary or, like, done something wrong to you, are you able to, you know, like, go to them to
like
kind
confront
of
it.
confront the
Confront and
situation
communicate.
and be able to put the conflict aside and come together as a
Yeah.
solution? If you're scared, do you feel scared? Do you have, I mean, that's a normal feeling
Yeah,
to
yeah.
have.
I think
But I think it goes back to, like, are you able to, once, if you do have a conflict and you're able to resolve it and go back to that, like, will they hold it against you? Will they hold grudges? I think that's a big thing.
the
like-
grudge, yeah, like friends, you mean?
Yeah, in friendships.
Well, with you guys, I guess it's easy because if there's something that's bothering any one of us, I think
We're straight with
we would
each
you
other.
would say something.
Regardless, yeah, we would say it,
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
other person
Even
will
if you're-
understand.
Even if they're mad at, like, if someone's mad at me or something and I feel it, they'll reach out to me eventually. I feel, or if I'm mad at them,
Yeah.
I just need time to process it, and then I'll reach out to them if I need to.
Talking about conflict in friendships, like, I think definitely trust, vulnerability, being able to be honest, and not just female, I think in general, but
yeah.
and yeah, and safe, feeling safe.
To be open.
Yeah.
Yeah, and be yourself. If you're not
Yeah.
able to be authentic and
That's
be
true, yeah. It's
who
big.
you are and, like, express your feel, like, it's enough already that you have to go to work and be a different person, you know.
Yeah, that
wherever you
makes
go.
sense. I got
Like,
you.
At
Yeah.
least have your community and, you know, and your
Yeah.
friendships to be yourself. So I definitely think that's
You
important.
could talk about, like, what kind of shows you feel like influence your dating style a little bit.
Lizzie McGuire for
Lizzie
sure.
McGuire?
Lizzie McGuire.
That's a good
So
one.
So y'all thought you would get like Gordo?
You wanted like Gordo or
she
Ethan?
did kiss
Or you
him.
wanted
Ethan.
like Ethan?
You want an Ethan Kraft or Gordo?
Damn, that's hard because, like,
I kind of like Gordo better than
that's
Ethan.
what I'm saying, because, like, Ethan was, like, dumb.
He was kind of dumb. I didn't like dumb guys. Mm-mm.
I didn't like Lizzie McGuire. I
Oh.
hated that
Wow.
show.
You hated the show.
So what was
I
your
didn't like
go-to? What was your
her.
go-to show?
What was my go-to show? I think I didn't watch a lot of shows. I watched movies.
Okay, so what was your go-to movie?
Okay, let me. You've Got Mail.
You've Got Mail. Oh, like it's a
Romantic
rom-com.
Yeah.
Rom-com.
Yeah, yeah.
So, like,
You've
a
Got
rom-
Mail. That you think
Yeah.
that?
You know, it's funny when I watch it as an adult. Have you guys seen the movie?
I've heard of it, but I
feel like
haven't
I've
watched
watched
it.
a
With Meg
lot.
Ryan.
May have watched it, but I don't remember. But I've
Yeah.
heard of the title.
It's funny when you watch those kind of movies when you're an adult and you're like, oh, that's
Like,
interesting.
now I get it.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
actually, it was kind of messy.
No,
That
it's
wasn't
toxic.
messy.
Yeah, I think-
she was with a man. The other guy was not cheating on her, but, like, I was
Yeah.
like, wait, what?
I think back then the romance was different,
yeah.
and it was more like a man, probably a man's perspective back in the 90s, 2000s compared
True,
to
very
now.
true.
It depends who the
Yeah.
writer
But I
director
feel
was.
like back then it was mostly like the male perspective for sure.
Yeah.
And yes, women did want all those things from the 90s and 2000s, but I feel like nowadays it's way different
It is.
because women have so much more opportunities now. They have a lot going on. Like, it's different. So, you know, some in relationships, some women are making more than men, and there's, you know, some women are not being a stay-at-home mom anymore.
For sure.
So things changed from
That's true.
back then.
I just was looking at who wrote it, and it was a man who wrote it, but
It
a
was
woman
a-
directed it.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
it had that.
But she didn't write it though.
She didn't write it.
Yeah.
That's his perspective,
So it's
not
still his
hers.
perspective, yeah.
She
Yeah.
just
She could've
directed it.
tweaked
She could have helped a little
Yeah.
bit, but there was some people that helped with the screenplay. But it's interesting to see
Mm-hmm.
like what you're saying. I think also other movies that have been impacted. We've all been like, even TV shows, I'm sure.
Yeah. For me, it was that the Jim Carrey movie, The Liar?
Liar, liar.
Liar, Liar.
That was
Oh,
a good
yeah.
one.
That I don't know why, but that's something that stuck with me.
That
one
I
and
felt
The
that.
Mask.
The
I had a
Mask.
thing for
I
the
love
guy
The
with the
Mask.
mask. I think I have a thing for Jim Carrey.
I've seen that movie a lot.
Me too. I don't know why those two movies stick out
Have
to
you
me.
seen Sonic yet?
Sonic. Oh, he's in it. I
Sonic
know.
was good.
He's in
It
it.
was good.
Yeah,
It was
but
good.
that-
Sonic was really good.
Oh, but I
Vibe.
was into anime as a child, so anime I feel like influenced me a lot as a
Oh, yeah.
child.
No.
Like Sailor Moon Tuxedo Mask.
I did tell you
but
guys.
that was so toxic. I feel.
I did tell you guys Dragon Ball Z. Like I had a crush on Vegeta.
Oh, he was hot though,
Yes,
but he has like
he was
anger
toxic.
issues. Yeah, he was bad. We
So
like
s-
toxic men, I
yeah.
guess, back then.
But not
Yeah.
today.
Not
today.
today, not nowadays.
Grown.
Not no more.
Respect.
Respect. Aretha
So
Franklin.
Okay, and then I guess we can talk a little bit. I mean, we kind of did mention a little bit of like male female friendships that have not worked out, and I mean I think we do have a personal experience with. I mean, I'm not gonna say much. I don't know if we want to talk much about it, but like of a friend leaving a group and having to deal with like, I don't think we ever communicated to that person about like what was the issue. I think it was more like, my perspective was like more mental health. Like
because they had a lot going on.
But
it was tough because they were with us for a very long time.
They were.
Yeah, that hurts the most when it's like somebody that you're with for
Since
a long
high
time.
school.
Yeah, it was since high school.
Yeah. No, that's happened to me for sure.
Yeah.
Like, I still think about like, are they okay? Like,
Yeah.
I still care for them. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I
So,
haven't
like,
seen them around,
So-
and I live close to them too. It's crazy.
Do you guys feel like it's more like a betrayal that happened, or you feel like it's just a natural, like,
I don't think as a betrayal. It's just something that they were dealing with maybe, and
Yeah,
they
so it was,
didn't,
like, natural.
they just maybe needed the space away from
makes
everybody.
sense.
Yeah,
And because I think the last time I saw them, I don't know, we were discussing something about like job and school.
oh yeah.
And I'm not gonna talk about their personal business, but we got into a little bit of like a not heated argument, but it was a bit of like an argument from my side, because I was just so over it and I was upset because I'm like, I feel like I kind of like tried to help you with finding something like a job, and like you want to give up already, and I think that's what got me upset.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I'm trying to help you, but you're not taking the help.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they're dealing with a lot. So, sorry, Gina. They're dealing with a lot. So maybe at the time I didn't notice it. So I was very harsh with my words. But, it is what it is now,
I know.
Because it's been a while. I think it's been like 2 years.
Wow.
I think so too. I also agree with, I mean, I know where you're coming from, Yudira, because I feel like, and that goes back to the being, it's funny, friendships are interesting. I mean, I think I'd rather be honest to someone than lie to them.
Absolutely, yeah, you have to be.
I can't lie to people. I feel like
I feel like that's
the
you're trying to
thing.
help them.
Yeah.
Like, even though it's harsh, you want the best for them. You lie to a friend, that means you're not a great friend.
Yeah.
Like, you
Yeah,
don't care what happens.
Right.
But I think I'd rather be honest with you guys than lie to you guys.
exactly.
Yeah.
I'd rather hear the truth, even if it hurts.
So you don't look like a fool. Like,
Yeah, we're just
guys
like-
for you, and I'm not gonna be like they're for you. Because
Yeah,
I don't want
yeah.
you to look stupid.
Yeah,
Like,
that's true.
Even though it's gonna hurt you, you're gonna be like, oh, you're jealous.
You're
Or
right.
something.
Yeah.
Like,
Some people could
Right.
take it the wrong
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
some
It's-
people do.
I guess
Yeah.
it's how you like frame it. I guess. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like, you could say the truth when you say it with love.
Yeah, but
Yes.
sometimes people take it
That's
personal
true.
regardless of how
regardless.
you frame it. Like, how you come about saying it, they'll still say, maybe you're just jealous.
Yeah.
But that's not
It
good.
sucks, I
That's
know.
on them. If it's like, if I'm trying to really approach this with love, and then you're just like, oh, like, you know what I'm saying, you're just jealous or whatever, then you probably have that feeling for me in general. You
It's
know?
Yeah.
self-esteem.
It's
It's
a-
their
it-
self-esteem.
It's
About
more
either
on
yourself
them.
or
It's not on us. It's more
That's
on
a
them.
good
Yeah,
point.
that's how
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel in general. But like, because sometimes people will say something and they'll be like very like brutal, like those people who are like super brutal.
That's me. I'm very brutally honest. Like, I won't
That's like me.
sugarcoat anything.
You're
But
like
I think all three of us are.
I think we're like that.
Yeah,
we
we're
have
all-
a balance. I think we
yeah.
all have a balance, and we have a. I think it's Josh, I agree with what you're saying. Like the way you say it.
Yeah.
The
You
way
can
you
be
say it.
you can be honest, but you don't have to be hurtful or like.
Yeah.
There's a certain saying, I
Yeah.
forgot what it's called, but like,
Yeah.
you have to be honest in a way that you have their back, but at the same time, it's like just what I mean. Like that's the important part for me. I feel like it's. For friendships, you need to have an honest friend.
Yeah.
I just feel
Yeah.
like Eudora, like she said, she was frustrated because maybe this person did it so many times. Like,
Yeah.
she was trying to be there. Like, you could
It's
be
hard.
there for someone, but there's a limit.
There is a
like,
limit,
You
yeah.
can't just sugarcoat it. You can't always. You have to be straight with them and be a little harsh.
Yeah.
Like, so they understand. Like,
Yeah.
it's not okay.
But yeah, no, I get that. There is a certain limit. It's
Yeah.
like okay, and sometimes, and also like there is that I've read that part before. Like sometimes you ask a friend, "Do you want me to just listen?"
That's
or,
real.
Yes.
Do you
Yeah.
She
want
said
my
it.
opinion? Not opinion, but like, do you want me help? You need my
Yeah.
help.
Yeah.
And sometimes maybe that's the next
Best thing probably.
best thing to do is like, hey, like if you said something a lot of times to someone, I know it's very tricky. It's like you have to play a dance. But I think sometimes that's the thing too. It's like sometimes
and
people
it's
just
individual.
want.
You know what I mean? Like for every single person
Exactly.
needs it in a different way.
that's true.
And you kind of have to like gauge your relationship with it on how like raw you can
Or you
be
need to
with
know
it.
your audience.
You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah,
That's
for
exactly
sure.
the word. Like know your audience with
Yeah,
it.
and the situation. Like does this situation call for? I guess it's like sixth sense. Like sometimes people just vent having a bad day.
True.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, exactly. And then I think we talked a little like about crossing boundaries, but how do you handle when a friend crosses a boundary?
Crosses a boundary with like a friend or
Yeah,
dating
like
or
I
just
don't know.
friends
When they're trying to be more than friends.
or like any type of boundary.
Any type of boundary.
Okay.
We can
Like
talk.
you ever have like friends that say inappropriate things and like you don't, or they have different beliefs and when they talk about it, it makes you angry. Like
Oh yeah.
right now
I think I would address it right
Yeah.
there. Even though that's a toxic
Yeah,
trait
yeah,
for
yeah.
me, like I think I would address it right there and then.
Yeah.
I'd be like, is this necessary?
because like, at work sometimes arguments get a little bit heated because people have different
Or you can take them
beliefs.
to the side.
yeah they have different beliefs or like they're saying things that like right now with everything going on in the world like politically and
Right.
stuff.
That's
So it's
that's
kind of
another
harsh
thing.
sometimes. I know we're not supposed to talk about it at work, but sometimes it does happen, and it's guys and girls. So it's very interesting to hear, but some people do get very upset when they hear someone talk about it.
That's why I say don't talk about politics or religion.
Yeah.
That's true, yeah. Especially
Yeah.
at work, I'm like, yeah, that's.
But sometimes it
crazy.
just happens because there's so much going on in the world that you can't really escape that conversation.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, especially now. It's just like really hard, I think.
But I think with going back to Gina, what you said is, I think the sooner the better. Like if someone crosses the
Yeah.
boundary, the sooner the better that you talk to them about it, because I feel like then it becomes like holding a grudge.
That's
Yeah,
true.
Yeah,
that's
that
very
is
Don't
true.
let it
You know?
bottle up because then they'll be like, why didn't you tell me right there and then? Like,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
should have been
That's
addressed
true.
right
That's true.
when it happened, not like
Exactly.
weeks
Months
after
later,
or
months
Yeah,
later.
that's true.
Yeah, I get
I
that.
I
think
agree
I
with
wouldn't
that.
wait.
'Cause if it's
My
a month
type of
later,
personality
yeah.
is like my blood would boil.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm,
yeah.
maybe
It's
you-
like, I
yeah.
gotta get it out.
That's how I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then if months later, it's like, it's too late because it's already happened.
Yeah, it's kind of already happened.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like there's
They
no
do
point in
have a
bringing it up.
point for
Yeah.
you, like for them to get at you. Like, why didn't
Yeah,
you tell
and
me?
then,
I
yeah,
know.
you give them ground to stand on at that
Yeah.
point. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's happened. That's happened to me. Like
That's
I've been,
happened to
I've
me
been in
too.
the other side of it where it's like I'll just like, because I'm like the type of person like I'll let stuff slide. And the thing about things is like things won't bother me at the moment. Like I think it's like when I first hear it, I'm like, and then I'll think about it. I'm like, oh wait. And I'll analyze the situation. I'm like, wait. And then it starts to bother me after that.
Yeah.
So it's like, I wish sometimes I'm like in the moment, I'm just like, boom. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's usually like I just let things pass because I'm just in the moment. I'm so in the moment.
I mean, I think that happens with a lot of people. Like,
Yeah.
it takes a day for it to.
Yeah.
Like,
Like a day, 2
Everybody
days,
is
or
different at the.
whatever.
Yeah, everybody's reacts
but
differently.
even if you tell them the next day, I think that's still fine.
Yeah,
as
long as
You
it's a
have to
day.
Literally process what just happened. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for me, I've definitely had that as well, Josh, where it's like I have lost a friend in the past because I held on not telling them what bothered me,
Yeah.
thinking that like it would get better or like I could move past it. Maybe it's just me. Maybe
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
the problem. Maybe I just need to like.
Yeah, you kind of analyze yourself,
Yeah.
in a sense, and you're like, yeah, maybe and also you're like, if I bring this, especially I feel like, I don't know, like there's the guys and girls perspective and everything, even though like I said, it's like I feel like every relationship is different, but with guys, you don't want it to be like, yo, bro, like why are you going so hard? Like it's not even that big of a deal.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Or like, oh, we're just playing around.
I guess that's a different with guys.
It's like you kind of don't want to be the one that like
Sensitive or
that's
too sensitive.
boom.
But
You
it
don't want to be the
doesn't
one that's
matter.
too
I think you
sensitive.
should be like, bro, you need to chill. Like,
Yeah,
take
yeah.
it down a notch. That's
Yeah.
that's the way you could tell them.
Absolutely, and I think as I matured, now I'm like more in my in my element where I couldn't do that. But I think as growing up, you're kind of like you don't know the lens of that, so it's kind of hard to navigate. And then
Yeah.
you're like, I don't want to be the one, and then like they're looking at me like, oh, we can't say anything because he's gonna be all
Right.
sensitive.
Oh, I
You know what I'm
see.
saying?
Do you think that's like
Nah,
a
but-
guy thing though? Do you think it's a man thing?
I think so.
I
I
think
will
it-
be honest, I've heard that.
Yeah, it's
And
like a
then you
mess.
know what I tell them? Be like, they're not being sensitive. Just how would you feel if you like that person
Yeah.
makes fun of you?
Right.
They call you like names.
Yeah.
You would still feel some type of way.
Yeah.
It would
The thing is,
hurt,
some
yeah.
people don't, and some people do.
Well,
Yeah,
then- but they have to
everybody's
understand,
different.
Like everyone's different. They have different emotions. Like
True, but not every. I don't think a lot of guys
Yeah,
feel that
it's
way.
like almost like we like certain Certain guys don't
That's
have the
interesting.
capacity for
Yeah.
that at all.
I
So
think
even if you
men are
told
trying to
them
be
that,
men.
they'll-
Yeah, pretty
hard
much.
being a guy.
Interesting.
they don't have the
If somebody
capacity.
was to say that to me, I'd be like, let me punch you.
Yeah.
And see how
No.
that feels.
No.
Yeah.
It's-
Oh my
You know what I mean?
God.
Like,
Yeah.
No. It's
frustrated.
it's first of all, it's way harder to be a woman, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah,
That's
it's hard.
But it is hard with that, like, that navigation. And, but I think it's also what I've noticed is, like I said, in my different friend group, I have 2 different friend groups.
Yeah.
And the one where I made friends younger, we kind of had that dynamic. But as I'm older and
It's
I
like
kind of
bullying.
and I know who I am,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? I choose people that kind of are on the same emotional level as me.
100%.
So that never happens. You
Right,
know what I
right.
mean? Or if it
So
does,
you
or
avoid that.
Yes. Or if something does happen, we address it immediately. And I know if I address it, it's going to be like it's gonna be valid. Like what
Yeah.
you feel is valid. But if certain other friendships you're there and you'll address it or you'll say something and then you'll feel like you're invalidated. Like that doesn't
Yeah.
like you know
You don't
why
want
are
to
you?
be around that.
Yeah, it's bad. It's pretty
Honestly.
bad. Yeah.
Aw.
It's so sad because like you can't even be yourself around them after. Like,
But how do you know when a friendship is over or if it just needs work? Like,
I don't know.
when they ghost you, stop talking to you.
Oh.
I've had so many
They-
bad friendships.
Oh my God.
They leave you.
Josh,
like they
this is a
literally
topic for
don't
you?
talk to you
It
at all.
really is like I have stories. Like it's
Yeah.
like it's pretty bad. It's
Damn.
pretty bad. Like I like the thing is I'm like I try to be friends and try to be nice to a lot of different people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at one point, to me, it's like when you get disrespected.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
And it's not even like on like, oh, it's just some words, but it's like their
Yeah.
actions are
Yeah.
disrespecting you. It's like, y'all want to hear a crazy story?
Go ahead.
Like a crazy story?
Yeah.
Okay. So back in the day, there way back in the day, I was friends, like, you know, my best friend, you know what I'm saying?
yes.
And then there was a girl in our group. She was a girl in our group too, and her name was but yeah, we were all like kind of cool. We were all friends. She was mainly friends, but I was like, you know, cool with her. We had our moments and stuff like that. And she was always so nice to me, and I was always so nice to her. So there was like baseline level of respect. And I feel like I'm very trusting until you give me a reason not to trust
Gotcha.
you. You know
That's
what
a
I'm
good
saying?
point.
That's how I feel. So I always trusted her, right? So this was like 10, like it has to be like around 10 years ago. Wow. Like yeah, about 10 years ago.
Damn.
So she, at that point I was single. And she was telling me, oh, I got this girl that I want you to like, I want to introduce you to and everything. And like, she's really like, you know, cute and like, and all this kind of stuff or whatever. And I'm like, you know, cool. You know what I'm saying? And she's like, I think she'd be like interested in you. So that was that. So I trusted her. And then I talked to this girl on the phone a couple times and she seemed like pretty nice and everything like that. And it was like, so far it was completely normal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then all of a sudden, this girl just kind of freaks out and she starts saying some wild things like about my friends.
Oh.
To the point where, and like with me, I'm kind of looking at my friends suspiciously because I'm like, why would you say that about, like, you know what I mean? Why would you do that or put yourself in that situation? I heard him talk about it too, but I'm mainly like, I'm gonna trust the person that made the allegation. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. So it kind of made a rift between me and my friend.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But then I noticed and I was just like, you know, because this was all through the phone.
Okay.
You know what I mean? This wasn't even like FaceTime or anything, just through the phone.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's like FaceTime. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's like, I just want to talk to you face to face.
Yeah.
She started like completely like, yo, I don't want to like talk. I don't want to FaceTime. I don't want to do that. And I'm just like, okay, that's weird.
Yeah.
And then
To the girl that she was introducing you to?
yeah. Because we spoke on the phone all the time.
Oh, the person that you were seeing, dating. Yeah, okay.
We were like talking or whatever. And we spoke
Gotcha.
on the phone.
Okay.
But she
Catfish.
did not. Yeah, that's where I'm getting to.
Oh, sorry.
She guessed it.
Yeah, but I never saw her face.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, it was like a whole thing for a while of me like being weird, like feeling like my friend might have done something and all this stuff. And then at one point, and I'm not gonna lie, I literally did the catfish because I watched the show. I
Oh.
took the picture, right, that she gave me of her, and I reversed.
Stop.
Image searched it, right?
As
Like-
you should.
Yeah.
And
You're like, it's
showed
like an
me-
Ingrid.
Yes. and it showed me that it was like a model in some kind of like different like state or whatever.
Holy
and
shit.
I was just like, yo, what the? So then I confronted her about it, and then she got pissed off at me and just was like, oh, I'm gonna come over your house and like do this and that, and I'm like,
scared.
yo, she's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, so then
That's so
at that I just blocked her and like I never spoke to her again. But I was just like, where did that come from? Because I'm like, literally our friendship was just like I never did anything to her. We never had a problem. And then all of a sudden it's just she snapped.
That's the girl that you were friends with.
Yeah.
Right?
So she was
because the
catfishing
girl
you?
was she was the one that like,
So your friend was the one that was catfishing you, saying it was another girl, but it was
saying
her.
It was another girl, but it was her. Yes.
Oh my god!
And you didn't recognize her voice?
No, because I don't know. That's the thing that I still to this day don't understand. I don't know if she was like playing a trick with one of her other friends or whatever.
Could have been.
There was this one moment because I was talking to this girl. It was like a week. I think it was a week of me just talking to this girl without FaceTiming and anything like that. So she would just call me on the phone. It was like a different number too, and she had a different voice. So, but one time she called me and she was like, "I'm telling you," she called me and then her friend called me and my friend was crying. Like crying, and I was like, yo, I couldn't. That's why I was so like, I couldn't. I was feeling a type of way towards one of my best friends because I was like, you can't fake that. I'm like, that's like when you hear somebody break down and cry on that level. I'm just like, it immediately like I was just like, no, like that hurt.
So it's like a different thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, and it's just kind of like but it was all acting. I'm like, I don't know how she was that.
Oh,
good
so
of an actress.
she made like you said, an allegation against one of your friends.
Yeah, and she what you call? She did it, and her friend, and
she had a friend,
the other friend that like I guess she wasn't the same girl, but it was.
Was that somebody else that she had?
But when she was doing all of that, she was like, I think she was crying on the phone, and I was like, I stayed on the phone with her for like an hour, like and a half, just talking with her and just being like, yo, are you
The girl
okay?
that was catfishing you?
Oh yeah, just like it was both because they were both
They were
crying
both there.
about the same situation because she told her, and then she was crying too, like because she said it. You know what I mean? It was a whole thing.
Good actresses.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
were so,
He's basically saying like that. At first he was confronting them about the whole catfish thing. But then I think because they were both crying that she made up an allegation against one of his friends about something.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty
So
bad.
crazy though.
That sounds really
Sick.
intense.
Yeah.
And that was 10
that's
years
not
ago?
the most intense.
Oh my god, that's not the most intense. Oh my god.
Friendships are crazy.
They
Friendships
are.
They are.
They
They can
are.
be.
My previous friend, I think he stopped talking to me. I don't know why, but he ended up trying to get with my ex, which is weird. So,
A friend that's a girl?
No.
No? Oh.
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 He started being
Interesting.
friendly with my ex. So,
Oh. Your ex.
Wait, was he is he bi?
so my previous friend, he was gay or bisexual.
Oh.
And then my ex, we were talking as friends, and he was like, your friend keeps trying to like invite me places. And this is after we broke up, and he's like, it's kind of weird. Like he wanted to pick me up from the airport. It's like he's hitting on me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait, this whole time he would talk shit about you, and now he's being nice to you.
Oh.
Interesting.
wow.
I was like, wow, what a fucking traitor.
Yeah.
You were just trying to get
Yeah,
with
that's messed
my
up.
ex at this whole time
Wow,
when
that's
we were
so
dating.
Conniving, yeah.
crazy.
Damn.
I know. I mean,
That's wild.
That's wild.
I feel like I went through my own journeys with my friends. I mean, I feel like like that one friend I told you that I stopped talking to, or she stopped talking. I don't know. It was like mutual kind of thing where it's like it's too late to kind of mend a friendship because I
Yeah.
feel like there is a time and place like where it's like, it takes two people to kind of come together
True.
to solve something.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was doing most of the work.
Yeah.
But yeah, betrayal is another thing.
Yeah, betrayal is big.
Yeah.
Real big.
And it's hurtful too.
Yeah.
Not only relationship like breakups are
Yeah.
hurtful, but friendships.
Friendship
That's the,
betrayals.
yeah, I feel like
Especially
that's
when you know
the
someone
worst.
for a very long time and you thought you knew them.
Mm-hmm.
That's
the
what
worst.
kills.
It's the worst. It's the worst. You know what I mean? Because it's like you in relationships, you're like, okay, relationships could come and go.
Yeah.
Your friends are gonna be the ones that are gonna ground you and
From
be
what
there
you
for you.
thought.
From whatever.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's like
Yeah.
when they go, then it's like you start to question like everything. You're like, and you start to question yourself,
Right.
Because you're like, how did I let this happen?
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
how couldn't I see the sign? There's certain people that I was friends with that I found that certain situation, like things about them later on,
Yeah.
and I was just like, how did I not know? And I felt so guilty of not
Or
knowing.
like shitty
You know
or
what I
like
mean?
so
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah.
I felt
Yeah.
stupid.
You
I
felt,
honestly
you feel really stupid, like that you didn't see those signs.
And it's hard really to build trust again. That's hard.
Yeah,
You
trust
could-
is hard. Yeah.
Yeah, especially like, you know, something you just have to start over with a new friend or, you know, relationship. But and then going back to the friends dating, you know, if you're dating a friend, going back, is it possible to go back to being just friends after dating someone?
If you start off as friends,
It could,
or you mean
either
friends
way,
with your exes?
if you're friends first,
Okay.
I mean, does that matter? If you're friends first,
I
then
think it
you.
does.
It's different because it's a friend. Once it's over, like, are you
It's
guys
hard
gonna
to go
be
back?
hard to go back to the friendship?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you guys dated.
Yeah, you dated and you want to be friends again.
I think it's hard.
It's a load. That's loaded. Yeah, that's loaded because there's a
Unless
lot
you're
of different
mature.
variables in that. I
Yeah.
think. Because it's like, are you both single?
Probably.
So in that situation, if you're both single, I think there's a
That's hard.
possibility. I think when somebody's in a relationship, that's when it kind of gets a little hard because it's like you could still be friends, but there's a
It's
certain
different.
unwritten
But what if
boundary.
he cheats or she cheats on that
Oh, that's
person?
different.
It's like you can't be friends with them because you trusted them as a friend. Like, why would a friend do that to me?
Oh yeah,
No.
cheating. I feel like it's
Yeah, I don't
That's
think
just a
you
no
go
go.
back.
That's not. But there's certain like I'm thinking more in the case of like incompatibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
like you still you love, but you just know that you two aren't right for each other. But nobody actually hurt the other person.
Yeah.
It all depends, I guess, on the reason
Why.
That
I
feel
think
like
that's
there's
more important.
potential to be friends because at least you're like
Yeah, if it was both like mutual, then
it's mutual and you both came to understanding
Yes.
that this just can't work as a relationship
Yes.
and it's nobody's fault and you both have love for each other, but it just won't be
Right.
what it is because of there's so
Yeah.
many things. It could be religious reasons, it could be like your love languages, whatever, but like it won't necessarily
it's
be
different. I think it depends on the situation.
Yeah,
so
because if it's one-sided, I don't think you could be friends again because that person still wants more.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It has to
Like,
be both.
let them
It has
know,
to be
like,
both
it's-
sided.
It has to be from both sides.
Yeah.
And both sides have to come to an agreement.
And I think you both have to, like, for sure, nobody should, if someone has feelings, it's not gonna work.
yeah,
Yeah.
no,
And that's
no,
what
it's not.
everything-
Not going
That's the
to.
main thing, I think. If there's still feelings there,
There's not.
and you
no.
try to be friends with someone, maybe you used to date or whatever, it's not gonna work out.
Yeah, you have to check yourself when you like when you're in a friendship. Like, are you really this person's friend?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of guys are like that. Like, they go into things like, I'm gonna be a friend just because I want the relationship. And as we
Yeah.
said, it's like so many things that we
So many variables, so many
that like
things.
Lizzie
Yeah.
and Gordo, like they were friends for like 60 episodes, and the last episode
Yeah.
finally get together. You know what I'm saying?
It was in Italy, right? Or Rome or
in the-
something?
Yeah.
Yo,
That's when
iconic
they-
movie though.
It was a good
Iconic.
movie. The
Um,
dreams
remember
are
it.
made
Yeah,
of.
Dreams
I liked
Are
her
Oh,
dress.
yes, I love the music and
Paulo.
Yeah, he was a douche.
He was
Yeah,
a
he was
douchebag.
horrible though.
Yeah.
But
He's
we'll
a
save
red
that
flag.
for the Lizzie McGuire podcast. But but yeah, going back, it's just like you think that like, oh, if you're friends with somebody for what, and I think like sometimes it's malicious, and other times I don't think it's malicious. Like sometimes guys literally are doing it like as a like a tactic, you know what I'm saying? And I think that that's something that's like spoken of. But there's other guys that are just like naive, and they just think that, well, if I just like am friends, it'll turn into that.
But I think you can tell when it's like that.
You can
at
tell
least,
when it's more.
At least for me, I feel.
Yeah.
That's why,
I mean,
like,
some
if
people
I,
you can't tell.
some you can, yes. But I feel like for me, I could tell. If
Yeah.
it's that way and I feel it, I'm just like, never mind. Or I just stop
Yeah.
talking to them and I
That's why, like, with me, what I've learned is kind of like, if you're attracted to somebody, you like somebody in some way, like, you kind of have to say that fairly early.
Yeah.
Like, immediately. So then you actually know where you're at and you both know
That
where
is
you
true.
stand.
Yeah, as
know
long
what
as
I'm
you're
saying?
honest in the beginning, that
And
way
al-
you get your answer and you don't have to
And
stick
also,
around.
if they get into a relationship, how do you react? Like, are you gonna be jealous?
That's
That's the-
Absolutely.
That's the problem,
That's
though.
how
Like
it gets
that's
messy.
That's how
but
you
that's
get
why I
messy.
think if you both come to an agreement and you're like mutual and you guys decide to be friends, then you're letting all that go pretty much.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because a lot of this.
Even you probably would feel that way. I guess maybe in the beginning, but I feel like if I saw someone I was with that they're dating now, I wouldn't really care. Is that what you mean? Like that? Yeah.
Oh, like it's like if I think are you saying like if you're friends with somebody for a
Yeah, I wasn't sure.
long time, and then but you have the crush, and then that person just ends up being like, oh, I have a boyfriend now. Or
Is that what you
person gonna
mean?
be jealous?
Oh no, I just meant
Yeah, I wasn't sure.
in terms. Sorry, I just
No,
meant in
you're good.
terms if you got into a relationship first, then you break up, then you say, oh, we're gonna be friends, and then the other person gets into a relationship.
Oh, yeah, you would be jealous. Yes.
100%.
Yes. If it just happened, yes.
I mean, going back to what Josh says, like unless there's like you know for a fact like you're not compatible.
Yeah.
No. But if you still have
Any type of
attraction.
feeling.
If there's
Yeah.
any
Any sort
type of feelings there, of course you're gonna be jealous.
There's gonna be a little bit
because
of
you're gonna
jealousy.
be like, why is it her and not me?
yes,
Then
Yeah.
why? Yeah, after
Comparison.
What don't I have that
Yeah.
she has?
Yeah,
type of
yeah,
thing.
Yeah.
It brings out
Like
your
we've been friends
insecurity.
longer. Why? You know.
yeah, and if
Yeah.
it's like that, that just means you gotta let it go and move on.
If you're feeling that way, then you can't like I always say, like if that's your situation, because it's like you have to step away from it. Like,
Yeah.
people always say like something about the friend zone and stuff, but I feel like it's not really a friend zone. You like if you want to be a friend, then
That's what it is.
That's a great thing
But
to have a friend.
sometimes you have to let go of that friend because she's gonna try to sabotage every relationship until she gets you in a way. Like some of them are like that.
Some people can be
are,
like that.
like vicious. Like
yeah.
Some-
You're talking
you
about
have
like your ex being
No.
a friend.
no,
friend.
let's say your friend that
Just a
likes
friend.
you, right? And you're in a relationship, they'll do anything. Some people are like that. I'm not saying all. Some of them are
So,
just
like, you mean a friend that wants
vindictive.
you?
That wants you, they'll try to sabotage
That's
your
not a friend.
relationship. That's
Yeah.
what I'm
Not a
saying.
friend,
That's
yeah.
why you have to let go of them.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Because
saying.
I've known like in the
Oh, so
past,
you've been in
I've-
that situation.
yeah
Yeah.
where that person is like stuck on the person, like I want him, and try to like sabotage the relationship, and
I
I
see.
had to let it all go. I was like, I can't
Yeah.
do that. That's so toxic, and I
It's
don't
horrible.
know if he's gonna fall for it,
Oh.
and he's gonna obviously take that person's side. That's his friend. That's
You really have to be careful. Who's
Yeah, you have to be
something you have to be
No, that's-
careful.
that's-
in.
so it's either they have to like remove the friend because she's gonna do that in every relationship, or the other person that's in a relationship with the person has to like remove themselves.
Yeah.
because it's not
Yeah.
gonna work out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but and then you gotta check because you like if you're my friend, why won't you want me to be happy?
Exactly.
That's exactly-
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? And it's
People are
like
selfish. or
Everybody
jealous.
is different. People
Yeah.
can be vindictive, jealous
Yes,
of you
for
and
sure.
stuff.
But
then
nobody
that's
got
not a
time
real
for
friend.
that.
That's true, but not everybody's,
everybody's
like
just
that.
like that.
Yeah, I'm
You
just
don't know.
some people. Sometimes those people sneak into your life. You
Yeah,
don't
no,
even
I know it definitely happens, but I
Yeah.
definitely think as you know, as you get older, it's more like all right, once you see that behavior, then you're like you have to confront it because like I think when we're younger, it keeps going on and it's on, and you don't really know what to do because you've never been in the situation. But now I feel like we've finally seen the patterns, so it's like
Yeah.
It's different when you're
Yeah.
older now.
That's a good point. But there's this book. I mean, I read this book I feel like a year or two ago. It's called Platonic: How the Science of Attachment Can Help You Make and Keep Friends, by Dr. Marisa G. Franco. But we didn't talk about attachment styles here, but I feel like in friendships, even in relationships, we all have attachment
Yes,
styles
we
that
do.
very
affect
true. Yeah.
how we communicate with
true.
each other. And a few pointers I feel like I pulled out from this book on building and deepening friendships is first, like if you're trying to make new friends and get into new circles, is assume people like you. Like, don't think the worst of people.
Right.
Be positive. And they call it a concept called the liking gap. If you assume people enjoy your company, you're more likely to be warm, be open, be authentic.
That's true.
And then be intentional and consistent. So friendships don't just happen. It's really as we get older too.
Especially,
Yeah,
It's harder to make
new
friends.
friends. Yes.
That's a really good topic, actually.
Yeah.
That's like a whole different podcast of like after, because I feel like when you're in school, we're all kind of, it's proximity a lot of the time. It's like you
Yeah.
have people and they're next to you and you have the same classes and stuff. But then when you're in work and you have your own thing, you have all these things going on, you're like, do I really want to reach out to them or
Yeah.
not?
Yeah.
You know
You
what I
have
mean?
the free will
You
to
have the
actually
free
do
will, and then you realize, like sometimes you realize, like I was just friends with that person because they were there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, damn.
It made me think because the other day I was like alone and like oh my god,
In
like
your
where am I
thoughts?
gonna go?
Yeah.
But I was thinking about how when we were kids, like I don't know, you go to your mom or dad take you to the playground and you talk to any kid. You're
That's
like,
true.
hey, you wanna push me on the
they have a
swing?
cool shirt, so like
Exactly.
that's my best friend.
Exactly. And I thought about it. I thought about in our adult years. I'm like, I want to play a board game. And I'm like, but it would be weird to go to a board game place and just sit on someone's table and be like, I want to, maybe it wouldn't be weird for
Yeah,
people,
yeah.
but it's like weirdness of like, oh,
I
Like-
gotcha. It's weird as an adult because it looks as creepy compared to when you're a child.
Right.
But you could always go to like events where there's like
Yeah, like
a board
open
game
events and
going
stuff.
on,
Yeah.
and you want to play with people and get talk to people. They do have events like
events.
Yeah.
where you come by
Yeah.
yourself or with a group and you can join a table.
Because the sucky thing is,
I think it makes it less weird.
I know.
Yeah.
The thing is, when you get older, it's like you have to spend money on everything. Like,
Yeah.
you gotta go to a
That's for
bar.
sure.
That's the only
to
difference.
socialize with people. I don't want
Yeah.
to drink. I don't want to do that.
Exactly.
It's like, what other
Yeah.
healthy ways can you build friendships?
That's
yeah,
true.
we don't have third places, and you know our third
Yes.
place is the internet.
Yeah.
That's what it is, and it's
yeah,
sad because in
it's
the internet,
sad.
it's like there's so much miscommunication.
Yes.
Yeah,
For
that's
sure.
So
true.
much.
Yes.
Even texting.
Texting
Yeah.
is another one. Yes.
Yeah. So be intentional and consistent. Friendships don't just happen. And the author writes that adult friendships require effort and consistency, repeated exposure, showing up regularly, building closeness, and invest time with them. And vulnerability is key. We kind of touched upon that. There's like a couple different chapters into this, and she also talks about male friendships and vulnerability. She mentions that men are socialized away from emotional intimacy, similar to like, you know, what we see in the media and in society. And the book discusses how men are often discouraged from emotional openness.
That's true.
Yeah.
And I feel like men sometimes are competitive. You know what I mean?
Yes. Oh, 100%. And leading to more activity-based or surface-level friendships like sports or
Yeah.
like, I don't know what else guys do, really.
Just sports.
Sports
Video
and
games.
Video games.
Like, that's like
yeah.
what it is. But like I said, it depends. Because it's like with me, I feel like I have a different perspective, I guess, because like I'm a writer, I'm an artist, and like a lot of my stuff is like very emotional. So I tend to like to gravitate towards people who make similar things like me.
Yeah.
So it's like I kind of understand their emotional thing through the art.
Right.
So it's very easy now that we have that baseline that we can like speak about emotions.
Yeah.
But it's harder when like, you know, I think I always say this, it's like the art is almost like it feels like a shield, like a cape you could put on, because then you could be vulnerable as much as you want.
Yeah.
But like, because the talent and the thing, it's not the same as like when you go into somebody else and to speak to them face to face.
100%.
It's like a place where you can do it in
Yeah.
a safe space, you know? And, but I do think that doing that a lot though, and seeing like the benefits of it has like made me try to be more like that outside of the music.
Nice.
You know what I mean? But I think it's worse people who don't have that outlet. That's what I get worried about, because it's like where does that go?
Right.
And if it doesn't go anywhere, sometimes that goes into like anger.
That's
Yeah.
true. It
It
does.
goes into aggression. And it goes into misogyny. And it goes into all
Yes.
these other things. And
Yes.
it's like that's the big thing. you
Yeah,
know?
I
Yeah.
agree. And I think it's also like going back to what you said about being in the arts, like, you know, singing, writing, acting, like there, whatever in an artistic format that you can express yourself, it's kind of accepted and okay
Yeah.
for like artists to be able
Absolutely.
to be vulnerable like that. But it's like, what about the everyday people? Like, we should have this as a thing where it's like, okay, you know, I understand like art is for entertainment, but sometimes artists also need a break from
Yeah.
being an entertainer and being like celebrities. When I think about like, you know, mental health in that industry and like childhood actors
Oh,
and things like
definitely.
that, you know, like it takes a toll in them too. So, but going back to men being socialized away from emotional intimacy, and she mentions when men do engage in emotional vulnerable friendships, the bonds can be just as deep and fulfilling.
Yeah.
So
I definitely think so, for sure,
Yeah.
sure. You know, they're actually more fulfilling. You know what I mean? When like you have a friend and they're a guy, and y'all could just have a conversation about anything.
right.
Yeah.
It's like it's different, and it's like you feel like seen. That's the word. That's the best way. You feel
Yes.
seen because y'all both going through it, but at the same time you're not masquerade. You're not like, you know, masculine is like mask. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? So you're not masking anything. You're just having that, but it takes like a level of trust to
Yes.
that person. You have
Yes.
to understand that person really like connects with you and understands you on a soul level.
100%.
And a lot of guys don't get there.
That
They
is
just
true.
don't. They just
That's
don't.
so sad.
It is really
Life
sad.
is so short.
Oh my
That's
God.
what I'm saying. And that's like going back. Like I know this could be a whole nother problem, but going back, that's I think reason why guys are like this is just my theory. It's like I think a lot of guys don't have that, so they go into women and they treat women almost like therapists,
Right.
And they
Right.
treat women as to nurture them and make them
Right.
whole because they never had that at all.
Oh.
So the guy that like never has any like he has nothing, right? Like imagine you didn't have like all your friends or everything. He's just nothing, right? And then like he meets a girl and she's nice to him and gives him a hug. He becomes like obsessed with her, like, oh, she likes me. No, she doesn't like you, but because that's the only thing you've ever felt,
Yeah, that makes sense.
you inflate
agree.
that, you know what I'm saying? And I think that that's something that we have to change, like for the future, like for the next generation, you know what I mean? Like we have to have guys to feel more
I feel like it's
secure in themselves.
it's even harder because we talk about third spaces and like the internet being a thing, and it's like,
and that's horrible.
and that's like the younger generation having even more and more exposure to just the internet, like
Yeah.
not being able to like go, I don't know, I mean, at least still in my generation,
Physical, right? Physical
Yeah.
interactions or
yeah,
any social.
because
interactions.
going back to like our generation, and I'm not sure everybody has the same experience, but like
We're all in the
All
90s.
okay,
We're
I
like,
wasn't
we're all
sure. I wasn't sure. I was like, wait, how old are
I'm
you?
old.
But
You're
at
the
least in my
youngest.
neighborhood, like when I was 7, 8, I played outside.
Yeah.
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 And played in the streets. I
Me
don't
too.
see as many kids playing
No,
in
they
the
Have
don't
you
play
streets.
guys-
the same. They
Have you
don't
guys
fall.
watched the show Adolescence?
I
I
have.
heard about it. I haven't
I
watched
think
it
I
yet.
saw one episode.
Yeah, when you guys watch it, like it's
Yeah.
literally speaking to what you guys are saying. It's like
Crazy.
this kid ends up like I don't want to spoil it. It's not really a spoiler because I think the show isn't really about like what happened. It's more about seeing the psychological effect. But it's about this kid that ends up murdering this girl, right? And then you find out that it's like he was extremely insecure. And that he ended up spending all his time on the internet.
Yeah.
And then instead, because he didn't have any, his parents were there,
Yeah.
but they didn't his dad wanted him to be like a traditional male figure. He wanted him to be the guy in sports. And like
Yeah.
when he did the sports and he was bad at it, his father wouldn't he would try to act, but you could see it in his eyes that
He was like
didn't.
disappointed.
Yeah.
He didn't want to accept that.
So
Oh,
then
damn.
when he tried to find something, he went to he went online and he started going to the Andrew Tates. He started going to the, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
those people started like they literally like he's like 13. They indoctrinated him to really feel like women are inhuman. You know what I
wow.
mean?
Wow.
And then when this one girl, like, you know what I mean, which like is normal, like it's normal that like people will talk where they're in middle school. Like people are
Yeah.
gonna talk shit and stuff.
That's
But
true.
he
That's that
took it
That's that age where
to an
people do that.
extreme.
Yeah.
And he got so angry and like it was like to see that all kind of happen in real time. It was scary because when in the first episode you're like, oh, he's just a kid. Like
Yeah.
then there's a second episode and you're like, oh no, I think it's the third episode. The third episode when he's talking to the female therapist and you're like, damn, this kid is
Damage.
like he's damaged because
Yeah,
he's
he's
talking to this
influenced
grown
through-
woman. Like she's grown, like you know
Damn.
what I'm saying. He's talking to her like
Down.
nothing, something
Yeah.
down.
Wow.
Like, and then at the
Wow.
end, like he's literally getting taken away, and this is all he says. He's like, "Do you like me?" He's
Oh,
like, "Dude, like he's
damn.
like, just tell me that you like me. Just tell me that you
To
like
the
me."
therapist?
Yeah, to the therapist. He's like, just
Oh.
tell me that you like me. Just tell me, because at the end of the day, like
Damn.
he's so damn because he wanted validation. He never got it
From anywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah, I gotcha.
So it's like when I saw that, it was like,
Raising kids.
we
is no
gotta
joke.
It's
like,
hard. It's
change
a hard
things.
generation.
Yeah.
Gotta change
Honestly.
things.
Yeah, and that goes back to like just having to be emotionally vulnerable and like having to open up, and I mean that's a whole thing. I mean kid,
Yeah.
generation and that's a whole other topic
Yeah.
for sure. But it is true. I mean, and going down. So also she mentioned that we kind of talked about this with genders and stuff, but friendship in her opinion is not gendered. Like you can have a female friend, an opposite sex friend. Like it shouldn't be like, oh, you can't talk to male,
Yeah.
female, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it all depends on the type of expectations.
Yes,
I
for
guess.
sure.
It's society really like that puts that onto it. But at the end of the day, it's like we're all just souls. We're all just
Yeah.
people. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
That's true.
And she mentions while men and women may be socialized differently, she argues that the core needs, belonging, connection, trust, are universal, and the path to meaningful friendships is available to everyone, regardless of gender.
So true.
Yeah. And then Franco challenges the idea that we should gravitate towards friends only of the same gender. Wait, hold on. Oh, so the author mentions about limiting our circles. We miss out on different perspectives.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's what
that's
Josh
true.
was mentioning, and emotional growth and well-rounded support systems. And one quote from the book is, friendship is about emotional safety and resonance, not gender.
Yeah.
And thinking about how often gender influences who we allow ourselves to get close to, and what might change if we let that go.
I can imagine, you know, like if you guys have a guy friend sometimes, like, and you guys could like, you know, like answer the question and stuff, but like, do you guys sometimes feel like unsafe around them? Like,
Unsafe.
like
around
let's
the
say like
man?
a certain guy, like, do you feel unsafe? Like he might do something, or like he might be like, you know, aggressive.
I guess if I felt that way, I would have
Yeah.
him as a friend.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Dara.
It takes
I
a while.
wouldn't.
If you feel
Because
that
some
way
people
from
show
the
their colors like later. Like
But
they
I think
flip.
I'm good with intuition when it comes to someone's intentions.
Yeah.
Like I could feel right now, I currently feel something about someone that is not necessarily close to me, but close to like someone I'm around, and I stay away from that
Yes.
person.
Oh yeah, 'cause
It's just
you
I can't
feel that.
completely be away from them, but I have to like
Right.
keep my distance.
right boundaries.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, that's good. Like, I'm glad that you guys feel safe with that. You know what I mean? Because I feel like I would be scared because I see it's like certain people, it's literally like a mask. Like they'll act a certain way, and then you hear
Yeah.
how it is otherwise, and you're like, wow, like why are you like saying that to somebody that you know what I mean? You see the other side of it, and like that's scary. You know what I mean? So
I think when as the older I get, the more I'm aware of like
Yeah.
the people. I mean, I honestly don't have as many male friendships as I used to, but I the ones I do, I like going back to like just keeping it. Like if I hang out with them, I know like, you know, just for my own personal thing, I don't want to drink around them. I don't want to.
yeah,
I don't know what it
Oh,
is.
so
It's
you're more
just-
vigilant with
stuff
them.
like that.
Yeah,
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
you never know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Things can get a little messy. And
Right.
I have had a male friend where they were my friend, and then things happened, and then we were like fooling around, and then we're not friends right now because I think like I was okay with not being like friends with them, but they weren't.
Oh.
So but going back to that, it's like sometimes when you add alcohol, when you add little things,
Things can get
Yeah.
messy.
Yeah, things can get
Yeah.
messy.
Things
Because it
get
loosens
outta-
you up and you don't think about the consequences.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
sure.
I've learned my lessons. But yeah, just be aware of those kind of situations. Too.
Yeah.
And then cross-gender friendships offer unique benefits. A woman may find emotional grounding in a male friend who offers calm steadiness.
True.
And a man might find emotional liberation in a female who encourages vulnerability.
Yeah.
True.
Because we've got like
Yeah.
things, we still have things that we can, you know, balance it out a little bit, right? And then conflict and boundaries, which I kind of wanted to talk because we kind of talked about it. And this book is really great. It's called Platonic. How the science of attachment can help you make and keep friends. But I really enjoyed reading this part of the book because I felt like I never read about like how to deal with conflict in friendships. And she mentions conflict doesn't have to end a friendship. Many people ghost or drift away from after a disagreement. But Franco advocates for addressing conflict directly
True.
and sooner rather than later. And repair is possible and often leads to stronger connections as well.
Yeah, for
Like,
sure. I agree.
Yeah.
100%. Like I
Yeah.
feel like once you go through the battle together,
You have to, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
you come out stronger.
you come out
Yeah.
stronger
Yeah.
and you understand each other. And then friendships breakups are real and valid. And when a friendship no longer feels safe or supportive or mutual, it's okay to let it go.
Yeah.
Closure is important, and grief over a lost friendship deserves the same care as a romantic breakup.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
and that's the
100% agree
thing.
with
I
that.
100% agree, but I feel like the world doesn't see it like that.
Yeah.
But it hurts like that. It
does.
hurts like a relationship, right?
There's actually not enough. I feel like there's not enough stories about that.
There's
Yeah,
like
there isn't.
Of, like,
you can't
friendships
see a movie.
dissolving.
You can't watch a movie based on that. Only about
Yeah.
romantic relationships.
And you
Nah.
should. It's like,
And I
Yeah.
think someone should come up with the movie such as
I
that
know.
because it's important.
It is important, yeah.
How do you go about like healing?
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
How do-
true.
you know?
That's true.
or even just like outgrowing people. Sometimes it's not even like something that's malicious. It's just that you
100%.
go your own way and that
Yeah.
person goes their own way.
100%.
But it's like you have a choice on whether you want to engage with it because the memories,
Right.
or if you want to let go of it because that person doesn't have it. They're not.
Yeah.
They're not matching
That's
the current
hard.
version of you.
That's hard.
And that's kind of where like
Yeah.
I see a lot of that like lately. Like I'm questioning certain things because I see myself and I know how I'm changing. And I feel like if I were to do everything again right now,
Yeah.
would these people still be my friends?
Right.
And
Wow.
that's the question I ask. And then it's like that's like ooh.
That's
but
a
then you
valid
have
question.
when you have like the closeness though, the closeness that you have between them, and you have the memories and like that stuff is like, you know, you went years,
Yeah.
20, like
Yeah.
15 years with these people, then you're like, I don't want to throw that all away. Like, you know what I mean? Even if we're different, I don't want to throw that all away. So it's
Right.
It just
it's a
means
balance.
like, yeah, the balance, and also just like means, you know,
Around people.
you do outgrow your friends, but sometimes you just need the space, and like
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to do everything together. Like you don't have to do it. It doesn't mean you have to
Yeah.
break up. It just means like you
You might
just,
need your space to do your
Yeah,
own
that's
thing.
where I'm
Yeah.
at with it for a lot of like my older friends. It's like
Yeah.
I have places and spaces where I feel that,
Yeah.
but it's not like my entire being like I was
Exactly.
back in like high school.
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
Every day we used to spend time
Yeah,
together.
it
It's
just-
like balance.
Yes. Okay.
and then going back to on friendships and conflict and boundaries, a little expanded into this topic. Friendship conflict is inevitable and it's healthy. She challenges the myth that real friendships are always this is the myth, right? That real friendships are always supposed to be smooth and easy. And in reality, though, conflict is a sign of closeness.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Not failure. The presence of tension means the relationship matters enough to stir up some feelings.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
And avoiding conflict might protect short-term comfort,
For sure.
but engaging in it when done respectfully can actually deepen the bond.
Yeah.
It builds
Yeah,
it, yeah.
I agree.
And the takeaway of this is conflict isn't the opposite of love. It's often a call for repair, clarity, and deeper connection.
I agree. Yeah,
Yep.
that's
So,
real.
Sounds about right.
And the reasons why we do avoid conflict in friendships, unlike romantic relationships, which have clear structures, rituals, and rules, friendships are less defined. Like I feel like we don't have as much pressure in a friendship, even though like there should be some kind of like outlaying, like relationships are so brought into like, oh, they have to at this point in 6 months and 1 year, like there's these
There's
conflicts
a way to
and
go.
things that happen. So in friendships, since it's less defined, people tend to ghost or fade or suddenly draw away instead of confronting the issues. And she makes a point that most people lack models for what conflict looks like in a healthy friendship. Like we don't have enough of like
No. Yeah.
I don't think so.
articles
We know.
or when I think about it, I never really looked it up. I just thought like, learning the hard way, of course, what
Yeah.
does a friendship supposed to look
For
like?
sure.
And we're taught that to work on romantic relationships, but to see friendship as optional or disposable, which is, going back to the point of like, you shouldn't depend your whole life on your partner.
Yeah, I
It's
feel
not
like
healthy.
friendships can't be optional. Like, and I think
Yeah.
in this world, you need people with you. 'Cause
Yeah.
we're social creatures. You need somebody like that's there with you.
Yeah.
And when you don't have it and you put everything to relation, that's very harmful to the relationship
Mm-hmm.
because then you can't give your partner's like taking on everything.
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't want that. You want like a balance.
Yeah. And the person matters. So reframing it as this person matters to me, so I owe them honesty, not
Right.
silence.
Yeah.
True.
That's true.
Yeah. And then how to repair after conflict. She emphasizes that repair is possible and powerful. The key is emotional safety, being able to express hurt while staying open to resolution. So not being, stubborn and like it's my way or the highway, but it's also like not just you, but the other person has
Right.
to be respectful. And start with vulnerability. Using I statements. I miss our connection, or I felt hurt. I want to talk through it. Stay open and open to hearing how they may have been hurt too,
Yeah.
because that can be a whole thing where like I hurt you, you hurt,
Yeah.
and blame
Yeah.
game, and apologize genuinely if needed, and you have to mean it.
Yeah. And that's like when the gender stuff, I feel like that's the big, I feel like with women, y'all like would take that, like validate it, you know what I mean? For the most part.
Yeah.
But I think with guys, it's like you come to that level, it's like, like I said, I have different, I've seen the full range of people to the point where I don't just see it one way. I see it
Interesting.
multiple ways.
Yeah.
But I think that like in, like just on a base level, like let's say the guy that like, you're just going to sports games with and you never open up and then he does something. When that happens, it's more like, like you don't, even if they want to say sorry, like, bro, no, like, like you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to, like say sorry or whatever, because pride is like pride and competition. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And ego, yes.
Wow. Yeah, that's a good point. It's hard. It can definitely be harder for certain genders in that situation. And but she mentions apologies are relational, not just verbal. It's about acknowledging impact, not just intent.
Mm-hmm.
And then, setting, respecting boundaries, like we kind of mentioned. And then she talks a little bit when a friendship is no longer mutual, grieving a lost friendship, and then talks about cross-gender friendships as well. But pretty much, I feel like this is a really good book if you're interested in getting into learning more about because it talks about attachment styles and talks about friendships in your friendships, about like the hard parts of it. So it's not really about like romantic relationships, but if you're interested in learning more about that, you can definitely check it out, because I feel like it definitely has some good points in that book.
True.
Sounds good. But
Sounds good.
Yeah. So yeah, I feel like we really dove into a lot in this
we
podcast.
Feelings right now.
We got into our feelings, but where you can catch us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and posting on TikTok and Instagram as well. So check us out there. And yeah, I think this is a great podcast.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Loved your insight. All right, guys. See you till next one.
Bye.